think one of the other big issues we have in North America is, God, team orgs for Counter-Strike just suck. Like the orgs, like the big name orgs, that like all the orgs here are run by League of Legends owners, are run
Yes.
by COD owners, are run by
It's all multi-game
owners
orgs,
from
pretty
other
much.
games,
Yeah.
which is fine. I don't mind that whatsoever. But like to have an owner come in who doesn't really understand Counter-Strike or the game or the scene, and also not hire somebody who has that understanding of the game or the scene and then depart. Like at this moment, if you like all these owners who come in and see how big Counter-Strike has been the last few years and say they want to be part of it because it's got all this viewership, they want their brand to be involved, they want their team to grow into it. Like now is the time to be investing in a
Yes.
North American Counter-Strike team. It has to be so cheap compared to the salaries of other top teams going out of other professional teams. And there are like very few like really established teams in Pro League. Like it can't, like it might be hard and it might take a little bit of time, but I mean you can buy cheap now, and whether you sell players or whether you get your team there or whether it becomes a great success story, this is the time where you want to be doing it. But we don't have any owners who are dedicated to it. Like I hated seeing 100 Thieves leave, obviously. I hated seeing Cloud9 go to Europe, although I understand why they've done that, and I understand with Henry being involved, it kind of forces it to go to Europe in that sense. TSM having their step into Counter-Strike and not coming back just yet. All these orgs that think they have to get into Counter-Strike by buying a top lineup, like I feel like they like listen, I am new to being on the team side of things,
Sure.
but they've got to have some pretty shit advisors. Like how's nobody brought up this idea of saying you can get a cheap lineup right now and build it up over time and see where it goes, and you build content around it and you start building up your entire Counter-Strike division from the bottom with a team that's coming up from the bottom as well. There's got to be something there for these orgs that they can find value in, that where they're not coming in and what Cloud9 dropped, what, $6.5–7 million in this new lineup.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go that route. Why does everyone think you have to go that route?
Put it this way. If I was like someone, like let's say an owner came to me, like you're talking about here, Moses, and what they tell me is, like as you're saying, those orgs only want to come in for the stars. They want to come in and they want to be top 10 immediately. So they're only coming in to get like a buy EG's roster or something, right? So let's say someone comes in though, and as you're saying, they say, listen, I want to be in Counter-Strike, but I don't want to spend 5 million, but I want to at least like be relevant, and then I want to build it over time. What I would do is I would tell them, don't use some guy who was like your manager from fucking Overwatch or League of Legends and have him like look on Reddit and HLTV and go, oh, this player's good. Like literally, I'm not joking. I would tell him like, get my boy Maui Snake. He's your general manager. All you're going to do is he's going to tell you the next best team that doesn't have a good org. And then he's just going to tell you a little short list of 3 or 4 names, maybe some of the people Zeppa just said. And then they're the players you add. Like that would be so cheap relative to the millions for the Super Duper team. But that team, if it does well and is coached well, they can crack top 20 maybe. Like the actual bang for your buck would be crazy high.
Yeah. I don't understand why no one's taking that. I don't know why any of these orgs who, like, I get it, like, it's not just maybe not knowing Counter-Strike, maybe you want to invest more money in Valorant, but this is such a cheap investment in the long term. It seems so crazy. I just can't believe no one's doing it. And I think that's a big problem as well. We have a visibility problem here in North America. This is another thing I brought up to the TO that I spoke to about different ways is, if your only way of getting noticed is playing at FPL and playing Rank S and then having your own stream and maybe getting a highlight on Reddit, like I can't believe that some of these semi-pro divisions and leagues don't have more content being created around them. Frag highlights, clips, something being pumped out by, I mean, well, spoiler, to kind of explain this, I'll just say I did speak to ESL. It's not like a secret. I don't know why I was making it out to be a secret. But like, I can't believe MDL doesn't have more attention. Like when you guys were playing in MDL, I don't even know when your matches are. I don't even know who's doing good in MDL. I don't even know any of the standings. And this is another thing. Like, I mean, I think the semi-pro division has to be a series of tournaments. It can't just be like a 2-month-long MDL league season. That's hard enough to do at the pro level. But like, you know, if you guys have someone popping off in MDL, nobody outside of MDL knows about it. Like I never knew who was doing good in MDL, team or player.
I think it's just because it's still seen as like an amateur league. And just even in terms of like the scheduling, it's up to the teams when they play and all that kind of stuff. So I think if they just made
really? It's still like the old school scheduling system where you just have a chat with
as far as I know, I think as far as I know, yeah, it's been a while since I've been in MDL, but so it's like the game ends up getting scheduled the day before or something like that. How's any hype, like, or not hype, it's not really going to be a hype match, but how does any like attention get towards that game if it's just seen as like an amateur game? It's getting scheduled the night before and all that kind of stuff. Like there's no predictability on when I can watch an MDL match. I just need like I have to go onto the ESA MDL page and see when a match is, or I have to go to HLTV, go open up ESA MDL season 38 or whatever it is this season, and I have to actually look for it. But if you go open up ESL Pro League event page, you know exactly when the matches are. You know, cool.
Yeah.
I just need to get on at 12 p.m. today, and I'll be able to watch a Team Liquid match. But there's nothing like that with the MDL matches or any of the lower scene NA matches. But then if you go to Europe and you go look at their things like the Cubs, all that kind of stuff, MDL Cubs, that kind of stuff, it's much more professionally run. So I know when they're going to play. Like I can go on Gamma Youngsters page and I can say, cool, I want to watch these guys watch these guys play, and I want to see what they're doing, and I know exactly when they're going to play. So it's much easier to follow it as a fan, in my opinion. And I think that's what a big thing that NA is missing.